It's Lauren Ratcliffe. Um, I make videos based on my experiences with high functioning autism. I am a roller coaster enthusiast and I really like yoga as a form of exercise. So expect to see something like that in, in future videos. Right now, I am working on a tip list called the 12 Tips of Christmas for 2021. And today's tip, I'm going to suggest people to read the Christmas story. And I am going to say, this is my Christmas story, part 2. And in part 1 of my Christmas story, I read the Matthew version and a few verses from Isaiah. But in this version, I'm going to read the Luke version. And once again, I am going to be reading from the New International Reader's Version. It's actually a kid's version of the NIV version of the Bible, and I really love this version, and I would highly encourage you all to pick up a copy of this version of the Bible if you can. And I am going to mention this, but I'm not going to read it. Luke chapter 1 plays an important role in Jesus's family history. It's about Zachariah the priest and Elizabeth his wife and John the Baptist. John the Baptist is a cousin of Jesus, and Mary was a cousin, was a relative somehow to Zachariah's wife, Elizabeth. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I feel like you guys should read it. So starting from Luke chapter 2, verse 1, Jesus is born. In those days, Caesar Augustus made a law. It required a list be made of everyone in the whole Roman world. It was the first time a list was made of the people while Quirinius was governor of Syria. Everyone went to their town to be listed. So Joseph went also. He went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea. That is where Bethlehem, the town of David, was. Joseph went there because he belonged to the family line of David. Mary was engaged to him. She was expecting a baby. While Joseph and Mary were there, the time came for the child to be born. She gave birth to her first baby. It was a boy. She wrapped him in large strips of cloth. Then she placed him in a manger. That's because there was no guest room where they could stay. There were shepherds living out in the fields nearby. It was night, and they were keeping watch over their sheep. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them. They were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news. It will bring great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. Here is how you will know I am telling the truth. You will find a baby wrapped in strips of cloth and lying in a manger." Suddenly, a large group of angels from heaven also appeared. They were praising God. They said, "May glory be given to God in the highest heaven, and may peace be given to those he is pleased with on earth." The angels left and went into heaven. Then the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem. Let's see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby. The baby was lying in the manger. After the shepherds had seen him, they told everyone. They reported what the angel had said about the child. All who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them, but Mary kept all these things like a secret treasure in her heart. She thought about them over and over. The shepherds returned. They gave glory and praise to God. Everything they had seen and heard was just as they had been told. When the child was 8 days old, he was circumcised. At the same time, he was named Jesus. That was the name the angel had given him before his mother became pregnant. Joseph and Mary take Jesus to the temple. Verse 22 through 39. The time came for making Mary clean as required by the law of Moses. So Joseph and Mary took Jesus to Jerusalem. They presented him to the Lord. In the law of the Lord, it says, the firstborn baby in every family must be set apart for the Lord. They also offered a sacrifice. They did it in keeping with the law, which says a pair of doves or 2 young pigeons. In Jerusalem, there was a man named Simeon. He was a good and godly man. He was waiting for God's promise to Israel to come true. The Spirit had told Simeon that he would not die before he had seen the Lord's Messiah. The Spirit led him into the temple courtyard. Then Jesus' parents brought the child in. They came to do for him what the law required. Simeon took Jesus in his arms and praised God. He said, Lord, you are the king over all. Now let me, your servant, go in peace. This is what you promised. My eyes have seen your salvation. You have prepared it in light of all nations. It is a light to be given to the Gentiles. It will be the glory of your people Israel. The child's father and mother were very amazed at what was said about him. Then Simeon blessed them. He said to Mary, Jesus' mother, this child is going to cause many people in Israel to fall and to rise. God has sent him, but many will speak against him. The thoughts of many hearts will be known. A sword will wound your own soul too. There was also a prophet named Anna. She was the daughter of Penuel from the tribe of Asher. Anna was very old. After getting married, she lived with her husband 7 years. Then she was a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple. She worshiped night and day, praying and going without food. Anna came up to Jesus' family at that moment. She gave thanks to God, and she spoke about the child to all who were looking forward to the time when Jerusalem would be set free. Joseph and Mary did everything the law of the Lord required. Then they returned to Galilee. Then they went to their own town of Nazareth, and the child grew and became strong. He was very wise. He was blessed by God's grace. All right, thank you guys. I'm not trying to force religion on anyone, but I believe as a Christian that the most important thing about the holiday is the birth of Jesus. So thank you, and